Driven by purpose, fueled by passion. My words got power, my thoughts have action. Motivation, stay gracious. That's greatness. Be audacious. Motivation. Be audacious. Innovation. Be audacious. Inspiration. Be bold. Motivation. Be audacious.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Audley Stephenson, and today we're celebrating a huge milestone, 5 years of the Audacious Living Podcast. That's right, 5 years of conversations, stories, and audacious living. I'm totally thrilled to be here. We're flying solo today, no guests, just me sharing reflections, lessons, and a few analogies to really bring this journey to life. So buckle up. We got to start off with the power of showing up. You know, consistency isn't flashy. It's the backbone of audacity. You know, when I think about consistency, it's very much like planting, a forest, one tree at a time. And when I started this podcast, each episode was like planting a tiny sapling in the dirt. Alone it might have seemed small, even insignificant. But over time, as week after week passed, more trees were planted. After 5 years, hundreds of episodes, that forest is thriving. It's dense and full of life, a landscape shaped entirely by small, repeated actions that eventually create something extraordinary, and unshakable. And I'm hearing that podcasts, fizzle out after 10 episodes. Well, reaching 5 years of shows that, hey, there's commitment, there's patience, as well as perseverance. Now, I always encourage listeners, if you want to take action, pick one small daily task, action that matters to you, whether it's writing, exercising, learning, connecting, and commit to it for 30 days and see what happens. It's very much like planting a tree. Small steps compound into big results. Audacity isn't one big leap. It's everyday courage. Audacity is sculpting a marble, right? So think of the chisel and the sculptor is working out. They got this big, massive block. Each chip seems tiny, almost invisible at first, but yet over days and weeks and months, those small chips begin to reveal a form, a vision taking place. That's what audacity is. Not a single bold act, but a consistent chiseling away at skills, habits, and mindset. Each guest, each story, every conversation is a chip in the sculpture of audacious living. And, listeners, I'd figure out, hey, look at a skill or a project that you've been meaning to improve. Dedicate 15 minutes, 30 minutes a day at it. It's like chipping away at marble and watch your small efforts transform over time. Long-term commitment compounds into impact. When you think about long-term consistency, it's very much like riding those ocean waves. Imagine paddling out into the ocean. At first, the waves are small, scattered, and unpredictable. It can feel exhausting and discouraging. But if you keep practicing, keep adjusting your balance, learning how to paddle and when to ride, eventually you catch that bigger wave. And that wave carries you farther than you ever could reach alone. That's what consistency over years does. It compounds, it builds momentum, and eventually propels you to heights you couldn't have imagined at the start. So, again, think of these small repeated actions that can lead to significant, lasting influence. And think of a habit that builds your influence or growth and commit to it over the long haul. Even small daily actions like posting, networking, or learning compound into waves of impact. Podcasting, it's been like hosting a campfire for the last 5 years, right? Think of each episode as adding a log to a campfire. Some nights, it crackles loudly, sending sparks in the air. Other nights, it burns quietly, steady and warm. Over the 5 years, this fire has been grown bigger and brighter and stronger, fueled by every guest, every listener, and every story shared. That's what this podcast has been, a campfire of connection, learning, and inspiration, growing brighter with every moment we've shown up together. I've got none of gratitude and appreciation when I reflect on this sustained audacity, if you will. And again, listeners, take 5 minutes a day to write down, 3 things you're grateful for and one action that you can take tomorrow to show up for your community, your friends, or even yourself. Small rituals like this fuel long-term impact. Podcasting milestones are like checkpoints in a marathon. 5 years is a checkpoint, a place to pause, celebrate, and refocus. But the marathon isn't over, right? Like, we can celebrate and excite, and I want you to, but there's so much more ahead. Bigger ideas, bolder conversations, and deeper impact. Reaching a milestone doesn't mean you stop running. It means you sprint towards the new energy, your new clarity, that new renewed commitment. Listeners, reflect, on that one milestone in your life, big or small, and decide what the next checkpoint is. It's better than yesterday kind of mentality to take from the bold framework. And then commit one extra intentional step towards it. Momentum builds when you keep moving forward. And again, for listeners, I so much appreciate this journey. You have no idea how enlightening, enriching, and beautiful it's been to be able to share the manner in which we have. And it's fantastic, it's great, but guess what? That's over. The 5 years that passes, on to the next journey. We can reflect, we can learn, but we also have to remember what's next. So I really want to, again, extend my appreciation and thanks for all the listeners, all the support. This has been such, a fantastic journey. And I think of all the lessons and the learnings that we've had together. It's been absolutely wonderful. And so before I get out of here, I want to leave you with kind of a quick, recap of what the last 5 years has taught me and what you can take with you today. So first, we talked about the power of showing up, right? It's just like planting a forest, one tree at a time. Your consistency today creates the canopy you'll stand under for tomorrow. Second, we explored how every guest, every story, every conversation is like chiseling away at a block of marble. Small cuts, small efforts, repeated. That's how masterpieces are revealed. Thirdly, we looked at the long-term game, riding that wave after wave, learning to adapt, adjust, and lean into momentum. That mindset will take you farther than talent alone ever could. Fourth, we reflected on the community we've built. 5 years around this campfire, sharing wisdom, experiences, courage, and connection. And the fire still burning strong. And then finally, we remember that this milestone is just a checkpoint. 5 years is big, no question about that. And I'm excited about it, and I love that. But the impact is still to come. It's even bigger. And as always, I'm leaving you with one thing you can act on today. Pick one small habit that aligns with the person you're becoming and commit to showing up for it this week. Your future self, I guarantee, will thank you for it. Thank you for an incredible 5 years. Now it's on to the next wave, the next conversation, and the next step in living boldly and audaciously. I appreciate you, and I'll catch you on the next episode of the Audacious Living Podcast.
Driven by purpose, fueled by passion. My words got power, my thoughts have action. Motivation, stay gracious. That's greatness. Be audacious.